Yes, welcome in one and all. This is the full 10 yards of betting podcast. August is just around the corner, so it's time to win some quiche and get those NFL anti-post bets on. Next couple of podcasts are all going to be divisional podcasts. We're going to go through each division and let's say, take in what's been going on during training camp. And our very own stars of training camp have joined us from last season, Adam and Liam. Welcome in to you both, boys. NFC North up first. Not quite sure why we're starting the NFC North, but here we are, and it's time to get things going again, Adam.
Yeah, it's about time. Yeah, I need to get my eye back in for the season. I've had a very lazy off season. I changed jobs last year, and getting used to not listening to 15 hours of podcasts a week has been a bit of a struggle. But I'll get there, and talking to you guys will help me achieve that, I think.
Yeah, doing your own version of a holding, not doing any
Yeah,
work,
pretty much. Yeah,
yeah.
I'm here. I'm here in body, maybe not in spirit.
And then on the opposite end, you've got Liam, who's first in the building and last to leave. Liam, good evening to you, sir. How's your summer been?
Yeah, it's been all right. Thank you. What have I done? Like 2 hours of podcasts in the last 24 hours, and the divisions we decided to start with were the AFC and NFC North. So I've come straight from 2 pods about the North to a podcast with you guys about the North. So I know nothing about any other division, but the North, no. I'm ready to go.
You'd rather it that way, right?
Yeah, exactly. Rather than going back and forth between.
Just regurgitate. You should have just recorded a video and then just put the video in your camera slot there and see how we go. But yes, NFC North today, division where QBs are probably quite settled now for the foreseeable future. Goff and Love extend. Michael Gove is Goff and Love. Jesus Christ. Mid-season form, lads. Mid-season form. Goff and Love been recently signed to some extensions. JJ McCarthy and Caleb Williams, obviously, with the Vikings and the Bears rookies at draft this year. So it looks to be 3, 4, 5 years down the line, all things being equal, that we're going to have some stability at quarterback. In Detroit, obviously, last year ending some pretty long streaks to clinch division, get to an NFC Championship game, and they've all done, and just you look at that and you look at what Dallas are doing. But this isn't the Dallas podcast. But there we go. Yeah, they fell apart obviously in the second half of the NFC Championship game. Many people thinking that they should have kicked the first opportunity of a field goal, but that's all gone now. 2024 is on the horizon, and obviously, if you haven't watched it, Receiver on Netflix, you get a good insight into what the Lions did. Amon-Ra St. Brown and kind of what he did last season as well. So yeah, very much. Recommend you go and check that out. Last year's records: 12-5. The Lions took the division. Packers 9-8. Minnesota 7-10, along with the Chicago Bears. Let's take a little look at the betting, fellas. If I can just get me things right. NFC North, bish bash bosh. There we go, lovely stuff. As you can see, the Detroit Lions 6-4 to win the division and repeat back-to-back divisions. Do they come along like buses? We'll wait and see. Chicago Bears 7-2, Green Bay 2-1, Minnesota 9-1 there. Win totals 10.5 for the Lions, 8.5 for the Bears, Green Bay 9.5, Minnesota 7.5 there. And obviously you make playoffs. Detroit Lions warm at 2-5. 10-11 for the Chicago Bears, a bit of a pick 'em there. Green Bay 3-5, and Minnesota, obviously the outsiders there, at 9-4. So Liam, we'll come to you first. What QB do you trust the most? Obviously, Jared Goff has been belittled ever since even during the Rams, and he went to the Super Bowl and whatnot. But obviously, he's earned his contract extension. They've got some good things going on there in Green Bay. In Detroit. But Jordan Love obviously sat on the bench for a couple of years. He's obviously got his extension now, and obviously they're happy what he's been doing. And then you've got 2 rookie wildcards entering the fray. What QB? Obviously, QB most important position in the game. Is it as easy as that when it's coming down to break this division down? Because I'd say there's no odds on favourite here.
Yeah, it's quite a good division. Offense kind of rules the day mainly in NFL nowadays. And there's some good offenses in this division, to be honest. Even across all 4 teams, they're going to be good on offense just because of how good some of the coaches are for teams like the Vikings. But yeah, you're right. It's a good division for QB play. Like at least 3 of the 4, I think, are going to be good. The other one's a bit more of an anomaly. I'm not as high on JJ as others. But yeah, in terms of who do I trust the most, I think on this pod, we quite like Jared Goff relative to other pods that I listened to. We praised him quite a lot last season. Similar to that Kirk Cousins mold, I think, he's not as good as those top 4, 5, 6 guys, but he's good enough to win you football games. And I think Jared Goff is that, and probably better than Kirk in some areas. But who do I trust the most? Definitely Jordan Love. Very, very good player. One of my favorite QBs in the league. We'll talk about him a bit later for some of the sections we've got on this division. But I just really like Jordan Love. Got paid that huge deal, which I think's deserved, even though it's not a huge sample size. But yeah, I think has all the makings of an elite QB. I think you could see that in the playoffs last year against Dallas and first half against the 49ers.
Yeah, mate, you could have put a scarecrow at quarterback for Green Bay, but again, this isn't the Dallas podcast. Anyway, moving on. Adam, Caleb Williams. We'll focus on him for a second. What does kind of year one look like for the Bears? They did well to get to what they got to last year. What was it, 7-10? Yeah, with Justin Fields and Badgett and all the rest of it going on. But Caleb Williams has been surrounded by new additions through the draft and free agency. For once, Chicago are actually putting a QB in a position to succeed in that franchise. DeAndre Swift in the backfield with Roshan Johnson and Khalil Herbert obviously are steady enough. And then at wide receiver, you can't really ask for a better three-way than DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, and Rome Odunze.
Yeah, I'll ignore my thoughts on three ways, but as you say, they have given all they can to a rookie quarterback. It's what you're meant to do when you draft a rookie quarterback. You're meant to give him all the help you can, and they definitely seem to have done that. Obviously, with Keenan Allen there, I think that Keenan Allen will lead the team in receptions over DJ Moore, but obviously that's going to be quite interesting. They've obviously got Cole Kmet, and I think they brought in the guy from the Chargers at tight end as well. So they've got a couple of decent options there as well. So they've definitely done all they can to give him the help that they want. But he is a rookie, and I tend to stay away from rookie QBs. Gerald Everett, that's the fella. I'm not really a fan of rookie QBs, even though he was obviously the number one overall pick. They obviously had a high draft pick to pick Odunze as well. So I'm not as confident on the Bears as it appears quite a lot of other people are. Although, as Tim said, they did hit 7 wins last year, so will they hit 9 this year with hopefully better quarterback play for them? I don't know. I'm not a Justin Fields hater, so I personally thought he was a bit harshly treated, but we will see this year. This is proof is in the pudding, really. So we'll see how they do. I wouldn't be taking them 10 to 11 to make the playoffs. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, and just while we're talking Chicago Bears tight ends, I saw Mercedes Lewis is still kicking it about, so let's not have any Mercedes Lewis slander. Yeah, so let's get the pecking order right for a start, Liam. Right. Let's run over some changes for each team as we in the off season. I found it quite amusing, although I shouldn't really, because it's a bit unfortunate for Michael Badgley, but he managed to tear his hamstring, I think, wasn't it, getting ready for training camp. So yeah, we've all been there, so they'll be trying out some kickers, so potentially some potential obviously missed field goals and stuff. It could be important. Who knows? The money badger. Obviously, Terry and Arnold was round one of their draft corner as they look to beef up that defense a little bit. Packers. Josh Jacobs is replacing Aaron Jones. Darnell Savage was out. Obviously, we talked about the Jordan Love extension. And then Jordan Morgan was their round one draft pick. Obviously, the loss of David Bakhtiari. He's not been re-signed yet. I think he's retired, isn't he? He's not. No, maybe he's just waiting for Aaron. He's waiting for Aaron Rodgers to give him a ring, I guess. And then Marshawn Lloyd was also an addition in the backfield there during the draft for the Bears. As I mentioned, Mercedes Lewis is still kicking it, but DeAndre Swift, Keenan Allen, and then obviously Odunze and Caleb Williams, both top 10 picks there for the Bears. And then for the Vikings, Sam Darnold is currently battling out with the aforementioned JJ McCarthy, who's the first round pick in the draft for the Vikings, as was Dallas Turner. Aaron Jones goes in division from the Packers to the Vikings, and then Jordan Addison still needs some driving lessons, it seems. So it remains to be seen what kind of happens to him. I assume, given the time, it'll probably be next year, maybe, I don't know, but who knows. Off seasons and Jordan Addison driving don't seem to go too well, do they? Okay, so fellas, let's have a little look at then your best bets for the division. First off, we'll do one reason why each team can win the division. For me, the Lions, obviously consistency is quite key year to year in the NFL. And again, you got a really good insight into what Dan Campbell's doing in the Lions with the receiver program in Netflix. And I just think now that they've won one, I just get the feeling the floodgates are going to open a little bit for the Lions. And I actually make them the second best team in the NFC behind the 49ers. So maybe it's a bit of a hot take, I don't know. But I just think that the cohesiveness there, and sometimes when people teams just have that extra sauce about them, I just think that that kind of puts them above Philadelphia. And that's not to say that Philadelphia wouldn't beat them in a one-off match, because obviously it would be a close game, and sometimes Philly kind of tend to pull those kind of games out of the bag. But just feel like the Lions will have that bit of extra sauce buoyed by the championship game last season. They know what it tastes like now, and I think they'll take that forward into this year and go all guns blazing. They've got talent on both sides of the ball. They've got great head coach and offensive coordinators and defensive coordinators. So I quite like the Lions. Does anyone fancy? Obviously, Liam, you must fancy Green Bay then.
Yeah, I like Green Bay. Yeah, on the item you wrote about one reason why I put the best QB in the NFC. I think by the end of the season for me, I think that's why they can win the division, and the position matters so much. And I just prefer him to obviously to Jared Goff, even though I still think Goff is good. But yeah, I think both these two teams are, thinking of Lions and Packers, are very good. I think you're talking double digits for me, quite comfortably for both. Like, I think they'll both win 11 plus games. They probably depends if they beat each other, to be honest, like who wins, whether it's Lions beating them twice, Packers beating them twice, or if they split, that'll probably decide the division for me. But yeah, I'm quite high on the Packers going into the season.
Yeah, and say for Lions fans, I think even though let's say they've only just had a divisional win, there's still music to the Lions' ears, because the amount of dross they've had to go through over the last couple of decades. I say they'll take a dogfight for the division every year that they can. For Chicago, I think there is shoots of positivity for that team. That defense is decent. Like if Caleb Williams can hit the ground running and connect with his wide receivers, and they've got a functional offensive line. It does pay, and similar to like the Lions, why I think Jared Goff's not always put them in the best away performances in 2023, but they've got a defense enough that they can just revert to the ground game and just grind games out. I think the Bears can kind of do that as well. Decent defense if they go on the road and protect Williams in the games where he maybe doesn't perform very well. But yeah, if they do hit the ground running, they do click. Again, I think Chicago 8.5 does feel a little bit high, but then say if you get to 7 last year with what they had, 8.5, if people will probably be liking the overs on there. But Adam, any strands or any threads that you can put out to give a reason why Minnesota will win the NFC North?
I was going to say, you've dropped me in here, haven't you? You guys have taken the top three and left me with Minnesota. Yeah, there needs to be a disaster really in the NFC North, doesn't there? Aaron Jones is a very good running back. They've got the best wide receiver in the division. Sam Darnold's all right. JJ McCarthy, who knows? Like he could be something, but yeah, it's not for me, unfortunately. It could be a rough season for them. They obviously have a decent enough defense. They always have had, so they'll be there or thereabouts. I don't think they'll be the worst team in the league. I think they'll be bottom half of the league, to be honest. So yeah, I don't really see any way the Vikings are going to win this division or make the playoffs, frankly. But who knows?
No, I mean their opening stretch before I think it's like a week 6 or week 7 bye is absolutely brutal, and they're just going to throw Sam Darnold to the wolves a little bit, and JJ McCarthy will start post bye. I think they've got like 49ers, Jets, and they've not got easy games, the Vikings. So good luck with that, Sam Darnold. He's not had a good time of it, has he? All right, in predictions, guys. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll start. I'm going to go Lions, Bears, Packers, Vikings as a bit of a left field. I think with the Packers, I know. Obviously, Liam, you set out the case as to why with Jordan Love, and yeah, I fully expect Jordan Love to be, not necessarily in the elite tier, but in one of the upper tiers of QBs going into maybe 2025. I just think that nucleus of the offense is still quite young. There's still going to be some seeding problems. You still could get the odd injury. Obviously, Christian Watson loves going down with hamstring injuries. Obviously, hopefully he's fixed that in the offseason, getting them realigned or whatever he did. But I just say that they're kind of, I think they're just maybe a little tiny step behind. I know Matt LaFleur's a decent decent play caller and whatnot as well. But I just think compared to the Lions, I just think there may be a step back on kind of having that sizzle, having that X factor, and going. But you've got year 2 wide receivers. You've got Jordan Love, who's only had a few years flying the league. I think it might take him a year or two before, this is a really juicy division. And you have some kind of all timers. That's my prediction. Lions, Bears, Packers, Vikings. Adam, what are you gone for?
Unsurprisingly, probably. I was going to say probably the same as Liam, but probably not. Lions, Packers, Bears, Vikings. I think Lions and Packers. You've got to say that they'll be the top 2. They are 10 to 11 to finish the top 2 on Bet365. They seem to be the only place doing forecasts at the moment, or that I found. I do feel the Lions are the stronger team, and like you said, the cohesion there. They've got a very young team, so they're going to get better as the seasons go along. So yeah, I frankly I trust Goff more than Love at the moment. I'm not buying into half a season of Jordan Love. Fair enough, he looked fantastic. I won't deny that, and I think he deserves the money because out of the QBs who got the money this year, he has the most potential to do something. I definitely prefer his deal to what Dak is going to get and to what Tua got, but yeah, we will we will see. I think it'll be top 2 of them too.
Dak's not getting a contract, mate. Let's put that to bed right now. Liam, what have you gone for?
Dak's going to like Chick-fil-A to be manager or something at this rate, if Jerry's got anything to do with it. I've gone, for the surprise, I guess. Maybe I'm overthinking it, but I put it on my pod, so I didn't want to do 2 different predictions in one day. So I've gone for Packers, Lions, and I've actually gone Vikings, Bears as well. Just think rookie QBs can be a little bit up and down. I'm not a big fan of the Bears' offensive line. I think that could cause them some problems this season. So, I've gone for Packers, Lions, Vikings, Bears. I think the Packers' defense as well is underrated. They've got so many good players, and they've actually got someone that I think will be a good DC coming from college this year, rather than what they've had for the last 3 years, which has been absolutely awful. So, I think the defense will probably be the best in the division, which I think will help Jordan Love not have to score 30 points to win games like he did down the stretch of last season. Are we doing best bets as well? I
was going to. We'll go back down the other way. Give us your best bet and any props that you like.
Yeah, my best bet was Packers over 9.5. Because again, if you do think the Lions are a powerhouse and they're going to win 14 games, I just do think the Packers will win 10 plus with Jordan Love. So I like that bet better than the division win because you've got a bit more coverage. But if you do like the Packers like me, there's better odds if you go Packers 1, Lions 2 in the exact finish. You can get that 17-4 on Virgin Bets and I think it's Unibet. It's just better odds than betting them to win the division straight up. I know you've got the bad scenario if Goff gets injured, Lions finish 3rd, but I think that's so less likely to happen than them finish 2nd. So I like those 2. And then player props I've gone for is Jordan Love over 27.5 passing TDs. Matt LaFleur likes to throw it in the end zone a lot rather than rush it. Adam had those issues when he was betting on Packers players to score rushing touchdowns and they kept throwing them. That did carry on with Jordan Love, even though Rodgers left. So I like that. And then I've gone back to the well of ex-Packers running backs, and I've gone Aaron Jones over 4.5 rushing TDs at evens for the Vikings, because I think that's a really good offense. And I don't love Sam Darnold. So I do think they're going to have to run it a lot in the red zone if they want to score points. So those are my best bets.
Yeah, I think that's a really low line actually for Aaron Jones. Obviously, you've got Ty Chandler and whatnot there, and obviously health can be a bit of an issue. He was banged up a little bit last year, but even if he misses a couple of games, over 4.5, does seem like it's a good one. Adam, what have you got in the locker?
As I say, Lions and Packers 10 to 11 to be the top 2 in the division. I think it's around evens, and I'm happy with that for the 2 strongest teams in the division. They should be the top 2. I did have a look at Aaron Jones. I was looking at over 750 rush yards, but I definitely prefer the over 4.5 touchdowns. Might be worth keeping out on Sky Bet to see if they do the escalators again. And I think they had 6, 8, and 10 or something last year, and we got good odds on someone who cashed all them for us last year. DeAndre Swift under 800.5 yards. I was looking at. He's injury prone, and I'm not sure he'll get the full workload there with, as Tim said, Roshan Johnson and Khalil Herbert still there as well. Sam Laporta obviously had a very good first year, over 7.5 receiving touchdowns, even money. He'll be around there. And then Justin Jefferson, best wide receiver in the league, probably. Under 1,300 yards for me though, because again, rookie QB or Sam Darnold, and he's had a fairly unblemished injury record so far. Could be something due for him. So yeah, under 1,300, I thought it's a high line for obvious reasons. He's very good, but it's a difficult one to hit.
Yeah, I was just trying to find betting for to finish fourth and see what the Vikings were, but I assume they'd be heavily odds on, unfortunately. But
They are
Sky
heavily odds on. Yeah,
Sky Bet
they were
seem
3-1
to
to finish third there.
No, not even that.
5-8 fourth.
5-8. That's not too. I was expecting at least
Not
1
as
to 2
bad.
there. Yeah, that's not that bad. I was expecting 1 to 2 or 1 to 2, but anyway, yeah. So yeah, I mean Caleb Williams' passing yard line is 3,450.5. Yeah, 14 times that's only been surpassed. So yeah, history kind of suggests that that's going to be under, but I don't know if that's the line. I haven't decided whether I want to take the over or under on that yet. But my favourite bet is say I'll probably be taking the Lions over 10.5. I think they'll be pushing for number 1 seed this year, as you said in the chat there, Liam. 13 out of 17 games in a dome. That's perfect for Jared Goff. So yeah, give me the over 10.5 because there is a chance if the Packers are as good as Liam thinks they're going to be, there is a chance that let's say both of them could have 11-12 wins because they could just demolish Chicago and Minnesota twice and then just win outside the division. So yeah, that's probably the way that I am going to take it. There we go, fellas. Nice 20 minutes in. Don't forget to follow us at Full 10 Yards on the Twitter, or it's sort of the X now, isn't it? X. And yeah, the website is up and running, full10yards.co.uk. And if you are around the Birmingham area or you want to travel to the Birmingham area for week 1 on the Sunday box in Birmingham, we're going to be hosting an event like we did last year. Was it Felston's last year we did? It was lovely to see all you lovely fellas and some of the fans and some of the people that listen to the podcast across the Full 10 Yards network. So we'll be doing that again. So yeah, so check our socials, check our website, and that's the NFC North, fellas. Anything else anyone wants to get in before we get out of here?
All good.
No?
Go Packers.
Go Pack, go. Yeah, that's going to do it for today's podcast. We'll be back next time with the AFC North, and obviously no spoilers, but Adam's probably going to be picking the Bengals to win that division. But until that time, we'll leave you on that tease. And yeah, good luck with all your bets. Please gamble responsibly, and we'll see you next time.